Okay, to begin, I'm going to start with a center line. Okay, the object is symmetrical, so I'm going to use the center line to establish my shapes. The first shape I'm going to draw is the top part, and I'm ghosting an oval here, and I'm just going to touch down my pencil real lightly like that to get that circle or that oval. And then I'm going to try to get the appropriate size. It's a lot smaller for the top part there. The next oval I'm going to draw is a little wider than the top, but narrower, kind of like that. And I'm going to overlap the two so it looks like it's going behind that piece there. Now I'm going to draw this bottom part here, this base. But I'm going to kind of measure about this far from here to here is about where, because this space between here is almost the same size as the top. And I'm going to establish a little symmetrical in here like that, okay? Although it looks like I'm getting a little off on my symmetry here. So I'll go back and fix that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then here's another oval, and this is this part here, this shelf here, this edge there. Now the base is a big oval like this. It's a very big oval. All right, it's wider than the whole pawn, and it's about as tall as the piece here. Okay, and I could establish this by measuring up here, measuring the actual piece like that. And then here is my the bottom. Okay, now I just make it. Really, all I need is this round bottom part of that oval like that. Okay, so now I'm going to work symmetrically. So whatever I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other side too. So here's the center part here. Okay, this is coming to that space there. All right, and then it angles off like this. And now I have this curve here, this small curve that comes down and then blends out into the rest of the piece like this. And now here's the base, which kind of widens like this, and it gets a little wider at the bottom like that. And it's a very sketchy line, so I'm almost like brushing it on. I'm brushing like a paintbrush, brushing the graphite onto the paper. Now I made it a little wider than it should be, so like I said in the beginning, the first target, disregard the lines that don't work. Okay, and then here's this line down here. Here's this, and I should look often at the photograph. All right, it's important to look at the photograph very frequently. So, and also the closer it is to the drawing surface that you're working on, the better, because then you don't have to move your head up and down, okay, to see it. And if you haven't noticed, I'm really darkening the lines on the right side of my drawing here, okay, because this is the side that is darker. So now I'm going to shade in, and I'll start with this part. This is the easiest part. I'm just going to shade in, kind of moving my fingers and dragging the pencil, letting the pencil get dull, and making this kind of crescent moon shape. Okay, crescent moon shape like that. I'm only going to focus on the dark areas, not so much on the lighter areas. And I just need to get this crescent moon shape here like this. Right? There we go. Now this oval down here also gets the crescent moon shape. It's just, it's stretched out a little bit. Okay, but it's still kind of a crescent moon shape. Okay, it comes from this corner here. It comes around here like this. And it's just kind of stretched out a little bit more than that. Now this isn't an oval, so it doesn't get a crescent moon shape, but it does get this kind of line gradient, or what artists call a linear, lineas. Right? In Spanish, linear line is linear, lineas. This is a linear gradient, so instead of a radial, it's like round, it's more linear. Okay, here too, I'm going to just darken this edge here a little bit, and darken this edge a little bit, and then just kind of, okay, shade this edge here, the edge of that piece like that. And now, this too will almost get this kind of crescent moon shape. I'm going to just keep repeating this curve, okay, and I keep glancing at the photograph. Okay, now I'm going to start to get lighter. I'm glancing at the photograph right about the center line. It really starts to fit out, okay, and I'll point out a couple things. So this isn't really a crescent so much either, except the movement of my hand is in that crescent fashion. And it's darkest like right about here. It seems to be darkest. And there are small changes in the shading. You know, sometimes it's a little darker over here. Sometimes it's a little lighter in some areas. There's like a little reflection happening over here. And it's a little lighter right over here somewhat, but I'm going to leave that out. I'm not going to get it that detailed quite yet. And now, here's this other crescent, okay, which kind of follows along the edge of this donut. You know, it's like a donut, really, without the center hole. But I could see it's kind of round and thick, and here's that donut shape. I'm leaving this white section here because I see that in the photograph. All right, and then the very bottom part here, now I'll do is it's darker right under here, right, and then just like a linear gradient could just be dark under there, and now I'm going to start to fade that out like that. Okay, and that's basically it. Okay, I'm going to put the date on the drawing before I put it in my portfolio, but that's how I shade. I could show the form of a chess pawn by shading the ovals and the circles with this crescent moon shape and applying dark linear gradients to the cylindrical shapes that I see inside the form.